All right, so before we get started with too much with Home Assistant, you're going to need something. Okay, you're going to need two things actually. Well, kind of three. One, you're going to need Google. Okay, Google is almost essential nowadays. Google Nest would be amazing, and if you can, like what you would do is grow it into your rooms. Okay, start out with one room, then work out. I generally started with my kids' room at first because that way I can page my kids when chores are going to be done or, like I just need some help. Okay, so you would start there. Like, think of the things that you need and how your house is not fulfilling those needs. Okay, and mine was I was just like, I would be in the basement and I would need something, and they were upstairs, so why not, make it so I can, like, say, hey, can you get me this wrench or something like that? So think of useful things first, and the communication piece is probably the most addicting and essential part of your house. Two, um, Alexa. Okay, Alexa. What happens with Alexa is it's got also a built-in radio frequency. We call it a hub built into it. Okay, so Google doesn't have that, but Alexa does. That means anything that you buy off the shelf, just like anything, you buy the crappiest thing to hook up to your network, it will find it. Okay, and hook it up because it's usually in the radio frequency range of that hub. So, Alexa is used as a bridge to get things onto your network. I don't really generally use Alexa for the communication piece. It's just, one, it's just too expensive. Two, it's just, I don't know, it just doesn't respond. It does, but not as well as Google sometimes. And Google runs on my phone. That's another thing. So, I can use my phone at work just like I would a speaker at work. All right. So Alexa, Google, and one more thing is called um, Kazanaba or something like that. So we'll get into it. And Kazanaba is, gosh, I know I'm mispronouncing that. It's an account that bridges the two together and allows you to bring in things to Home Assistant. So what is Home Assistant? Can't we just use this? I mean, like, look at it's all organized. Here's Google Home. I can click on things, right? And I can make routines. Okay. And really, well, what about Alexa? Alexa. Okay, same thing. I got the ability to turn on things and um, sort of. Here's my devices. Can I just like click on lights and then turn them off at night and make routines there? You could. The thing is, uh, so at some point you're going to really want to do cool stuff. Okay, this is kind of like at consumer level of things. Okay, which is okay. Consumer level is okay. Consumer level will be expensive though. There's no doubt about it. So like right now, home automation is at a stage where like a light bulb is getting down finally in price. But some of the other things like a motion sensor is still stupid high. Like $34 for a motion sensor when you can make one? Come on. That's sad. So when you are using Home Assistant, you can build things and make your own stuff. Okay? And that's the fun of it. That's the challenge of it. And you start learning electronics because of that too. So that's one of the goals of this playlist is to get you to the point where you're independent and able to like put your own sensors in your house and code some YAML in place in order to run those and run routines. Also, the routines are a little bit more robust and more thought out with Home Assistant. You can build your own interfaces. You can then access it on your phone too. So the new one that I got now If I went here, oops. Oh, and that's right, because I just blew up my Home Assistant. I guess it's not going to be on there. So, yeah. So by making that one in the last video, it overtopples my old one. So I guess I don't have the Home Assistant hooked up just yet on my phone. So that's another goal we got to do. Alright, so that's what we're going to be doing in this video. We're going to assume, or I'm going to assume, that you are in on the game, and then you want to make a ecosystem. So I'm going to show you how to hook up Alexa, Google, Casa, and get it all working on your phone. Fun, right? Huge. Alright, so let's get started. Alright, so the first thing is just know that I am porting over. I'm going to break my system again. I'm okay with breaking my system because I know how to fix it. But so, for example, Alexa, okay, if you have Alexa, I gotta stop saying that name. So if you have this, okay, already on your phone, or if you're first getting it and you're installing it on your phone, it's very easy to install the A word on your phone. It's not as easy to bring it into Home Assistant. So we're going to actually delete my port. So if you go to More, and then you go to Skills, and you type in Home Assistant, and make sure you put a blank or a space between those two. So you're going to get this one. So what the heck? Let's disable it again. It's fun. It only causes chaos. Okay, so I disabled that. Let's go over to Google Home. So Home, Google Home is easy to install too. I don't think you need much. You just get a Google Nest, you hook it up, and then you download Google Home, and you look for a device, and it finds it like super fast. So, but what they don't tell you set up a device, works with Google, and there's this as Home Assistant Cloud with Nabu Casa. Okay, I'm going to unlink that account. Sweet. And you can already see that my Home Assistant doesn't work. So Home Assistant, and that's already pretty much broke. Now you won't be able to hook up the Home Assistant until the end of the next video. Okay? Because by then you're going to have access to a DNS number that you can access it via the outside world. Okay, so right now everything's real local. If you made it this far, you've hooked up an operating system and it's like in your router schema, but you cannot access it from the outside world. So therefore, I wouldn't hook this one up just yet. Wait till the end of the next video, and that's where you're going to have access to this homeassistant.local.2210 or 8123 from DuckDNS. Okay? Alright, so we won't fix that one just yet. Alright, so now everything's broke. You saw me break it. So now we're going to go fix it. And this would be the start of, hey, this is how you hook up Google Home, Alexa, and Nabu Casa all in Home Assistant, starting now. Alright, so now we're going to look at how to integrate those into here. Now, don't worry about the things on the left-hand side just yet, because there's going to be the next few videos that run you through a lot of this stuff to install the correct things and how to do it correctly. I wanted to cover this video the second time because I felt it didn't have the energy that it needed in order to kind of tell you why you need these things. So we're going to go first into Home Assistant, in the settings, you still have that, and then go to Home Assistant Cloud. Okay. So the first thing is we need to establish the Nabu Casa account. So if you go to Nabu Casa, so it's nabucasa.com. Alright, you start a free trial. Okay, after the trial it's $6.99 a month. It can't be said that this is not worth. Without this, here's what's going to happen. One, you're going to struggle trying to get into your Home Assistant from the outside world for a little while. Okay, so you can do it, but you're going to struggle. Two, let's say I put a new thing on the network. Okay, I integrate it with Alexa. Guess what happens because of this account? It automatically throws it into my Home Assistant for me. Okay? If I add something to Google, it integrates and adds it to my Home Assistant for me. So you don't understand how worth this is. So $6.99. So I'll put that energy behind it. Definitely worth the $6.99 a month. And I don't even notice I pay $6.99 a month. It's way less because I don't watch Hulu or Netflix or anything like that. So, all right. So there we go. That's the Nabu Casa account. So what you do, you start a new trial. You sign in using your email and address that you're going to do. You're going to hit create account, and then once you create that account, then you go over here and then you connect it. This is the email and the password. Okay. Also, I would write this down in a Google Doc somewhere that you're going to keep it safe. Okay, everything about it. Cool. That goes in there first. Make sure you do that. The next thing I would do is probably the Google or Alexa. So Alexa didn't break even if I unhooked it. Alexa's pretty. Once it gets into your system, it actually doesn't break very easy. So the only thing I have to do now is re-enable that skill back onto my phone. So yours is probably going to say, hey, I didn't get the Alexa is not hooked up. So it's going to ask for your username and password here for your Amazon Alexa account. Okay. It's also probably going to ask for a key that it emails you. So all I do is have to, for the Alexa part of it, is jump over to my dock cam. Boom. Find Alexa. And then I'm going to go to More. I'm going to go to Skills and Games. And then I'm going to go and search it. Home Assistant. Make sure you put the blank behind it. Whoops. Home. Whoops. I know you can say boomer now, right? Yeah. This I don't text and date. There's a reason I'm single. Be like, would you like to have lunch with me? Or 3 hours later. All right, so I'm able to use. And this is where I got to type in my information. And boom. So now Alexa's going out to my network, looking for things, gathering it all up. It was already there, but it's going to make sure. And then it'll bring it into Home Assistant. On my phone right now, it says no new devices found. So it's already got all its devices. And when I go to manage entities, these are all the things that it's kind of looking at. It's looking at, I got a speaker in my house, I got a TV, and these are all things that I would have to start building upon. Cool. So that's how you hook up Alexa. Easy. Gotta stop saying its name. Alright, so let's go to Home Assistant Cloud. Let's repair the Google Assistant one. Okay? So it says activate the Home Assistant Cloud skill in your Home Assistant. Okay, so let's go do that, and then we can get that one hooked up. Okay, back to the dock cam. Google Home. So add, set up device. Works with Google. And Home Assistant by Nabu Casa. Alright, so again, with that account that I told you to make, you'll get this. Boom. Okay, so now back to and boom, Google Assistant is hooked up. Okay, so it has this thing. It says local communication unavailable because Google devices will not be able to talk locally to your Home Assistant because you have a configured SSL. Yes, I do have a SSL. That is hooked up in the our next couple videos when we do the DNS rerouting. Okay, so when you have that, this will go away. And all I do is have to restart the server in order for that to work. So that's how you hook up Google Assistant. Really easy. You just enable the skill, and it will automatically search out for your Google Assistant because it's going through Nabu Casa. That's how it found that. All right. So let's see what else. Got that, and then webhooks, we're not going to do. I find webhooks to be really slow and not really useful when it comes down to it. I think you only get a couple too. Like I can code faster and put all the hard coding down so it doesn't have to reach out to the internet to get a webhook on some things. So webhooks are, let's say an event happens somewhere in the world. Your Home Assistant will see that event happening and then react to the event. That could be just me at work saying, hey, would you make sure that you turn on my toaster oven at home? Okay, and then it would interact with a plug. But again, I could hard code that in using a routine faster than I could do a webhook. So that's why I don't use webhooks. So now that we have all of these things integrated, I would highly suggest going System and doing a restart, and then do Restart. So that is how you hook up Nabu Casa, Alexa, and your home, Google Home, into Home Assistant. Enjoy.